So as a really quick introduction to myself, so my name is Jack. I work in our agency partner management team, which essentially means that I've got the best job in the world. I get to work with our wonderful agency partners and their respective clients and make sure that they have a fabulous time using Klaviyo. Now, if you have any difficult questions for me here today, my lovely colleague Owen is over there somewhere. Owen, give us a wave. Where are you? There he is. He is our technical wizard-ish, so he will be on hand to answer, hopefully, anything. But we'll crack on. As a very quick show of hands, who here is familiar with Klaviyo today? OK, so we've got a decent coverage. And keep your hands up if you are currently a Klaviyo customer. OK, lovely. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with Klaviyo, we exist to do one thing and try to do it really, really well, which is to power smarter digital relationships. And how do we do that? Well, we do that through leveraging your data. Now, data, obviously, a massive buzzword, but in terms of how we use it, essentially, we use it to solve a very, very common problem which exists in the ecosystem today, which is that the vast majority of retailers are not treating their customers like individuals. And this is deeply problematic. And the reason why it's so problematic is because the customer paradigm has shifted. You know, the people that we are now communicating to are the first digitally native consumer base. And their expectation when they're shopping online is to be treated like an individual. I love this statistic here. 70% of consumers crave a deeper personal connection with brands. And we can kind of see this for ourselves as well. You know, if you are on your Instagram page or on your Amazon page, whatever it may be, this isn't just individual to you. It is fundamentally personalized for what you care about, and it's designed with one major strategy in mind. And that is to keep you coming back to the site, to keep you spending more time, and ultimately to keep you spending more money. And the brands that succeed today, they are the ones that can emulate this experience, can take what these big companies are doing and make it applicable for their business. So to create this deep connection with their customers. And Klaviyo can help solve for some of that. The probably most important thing that we do, although we do a lot, is we operate as a single source of truth for your customer data. Because when you have all your data in one place, you can operate a lot more effectively and a lot more functionally too. So for example, this could be offline data. So information that you collect about a customer at the point of sale. It could be online data. So did someone click on a Google ad? Were they referred by somebody? It could be first-party data. So if somebody, for example, leaves a positive review or alternatively leaves a negative review, you want to be able to store that information because that will change the way that you market to them. And at Klaviyo, we have this all included within the platform, and you have the ability to pull from it whenever you wish to market to a customer. And that's where segmentation and hyper-personalization really come into play. So segmentation essentially is a way of classifying your customers based upon the actions that they take. And when you look at that, essentially what you can do, you can start with all of the raw data, which you see at the bottom of the screen, which can come from your different integrations, from your Shopify, from your e-commerce platform, from your retail unit, and then you can apply some logic to it, some guidance to it, and finally you can connect to customers through it. So that can be through email, through SMS, from push notifications. It could be direct mail these days. We have many different marketing channels, and you can leverage your customer information throughout all of those different channels. Now, segmentation is really important because each buyer and each customer journey is completely unique. You, as a marketeer, do not have the ability to create a strategy for every single customer and meet their expectations. So we rely on segmentation to classify customers, and then when they hit these different buckets, start sending them communication which is applicable to them. So for example, you could bucket customers into those that have left a positive product review, those that have become VIP, or those that have signed up for the newsletter that you have. But really, the world is your oyster here. You can make this as specific to your business as you would like to. What we typically see is people who are in certain demographics or certain geographies that will be kind of like outlined and mapped as a specific type of customer. But equally, this can be stuff such as your acquisition source. And the example I always like to give here is the variance between a customer that clicks on a Google ad versus somebody that arrives on your website via a referral. If someone arrives on your website via referral, the way you communicate to them should be completely different to somebody who is a first-time buyer, because we're assuming there's already an emotional connection that they share with your brand. So really important. Equally, you can look at what someone has done historically. So perhaps they've browsed on your website before, perhaps they've purchased something, and also what they're going to do next. So at Klaviyo, we have a lot of predictor data baked into our platform. Looking at a customer versus the total population of customers, we can, with quite a good level of accuracy, understand what a customer is going to do in the near future. And all of this can be utilized to market effectively. And that's where personalization comes through. So once you have your segments, essentially you have the ability to then apply personalization to your different marketing efforts to make them far more effective. And we care about this because typically when you compare a personalized bit of marketing content versus a non-personalized, you see a 300% increase in the ROI that you see. So pretty sensational in contrast of doing some work which is relatively easy to set up in a marketing automation tool like Klaviyo. And we're going to start with the example of the welcome series. I would assume everyone here has a welcome series on their website. Normally, it is triggered when somebody signs up for a newsletter or makes their first purchase. And the way I would think about a welcome series is essentially it is the first touch point and the first opportunity that you have to start building an emotional connection with a customer. So you want to tell them more about your brand, what you care about, all the things that you're trying to accomplish. And once you have that, you can then personalize and build a relationship and get them back on the website, get them purchasing more. And we're going to use the example of Pinter. Now, Pinter are a UK-based beverage company. Some of you guys may be familiar with them. They create fresh brewed beer, but rather than having it brewed and then shipped to you, it works the other way around. So they will ship you like a mini keg, and then you brew it at home following their instructions. And it's really super interesting as a business. I absolutely love it. I'm not sure if anyone here is a home brewer. One of my good friends got into home brewing during COVID, and he had a really interesting journey. He started off by telling me that he was going to be a master brewer within a couple of months, and then during his first fermentation process, he ended up blowing up his garden shed. It is really tricky to do, and what the people at Pinter have realized correctly is that if you don't successfully tell people how to brew their first batch of beer, and it's not good, and it's not refreshing, and it doesn't give them a slight buzz, the probability of them making a second purchase is unbelievably low. So within their welcome series, they segment their customers based on the actions that they have or have not done. And the number one way that Pinter can guarantee that you create a good batch of beer is if you download their app and start tracking all your details so it comes out correctly. So you can see here that in their segmentation, they have a completely different email flow for somebody who has not downloaded the app, and they're incentivizing you to download the app, versus somebody that has downloaded the app. So I thought this was really, really fascinating. This has worked really well for them. Since they created this welcome series, 66% of customers will end up downloading the app by the end of the email flow that they have set up. So really helps them achieve their business goals. Now, this isn't the only form of segmentation that Pinter's has. They also segment customers based upon whether or not they have made a previous purchase or whether or not they are a first-time customer. So you can see on the left-hand side, we have somebody who has never shopped with Pinter before. And you can see, and I think this is so interesting, and it may be a bit small for some of you at the back, but the first thing they ask is, who introduced you? And I think that's really interesting because you're learning so much about the customer with that simple question. And then from there, they may continue to ask questions to get first-party data so they can successfully build a relationship with that customer in the future. Now, in contrast, if somebody has made a previous purchase, it's a very different call to action. They are asking you to explore the product range. So they already assume that they know that information about you, or alternatively, you're not willing to give it. And in that case, they'll just say, OK, well, they're coming back for a second, third, fourth purchase. Why don't we show them the rest of our product line? Perhaps they're interested in a stout or whatever it may be. So many good strategies that you can implement with segmentation. Now, as I said, the most important thing that you can do with a welcome series is start to tell people why they should care about your business and your brand. And I did want to just showcase one Irish retailer who I don't believe is in the room today, but I really do think did a fabulous job. In preparation for this, by the way, I think I'm subscribed to everyone's mailing list in this room, so I'm learning a lot about your businesses, and it's been fabulous. But I really, really loved Pets.ie because they're immediately telling me what they care about as a business. You know, they're saying for pets and their people. It's cute, it's lovely, bonus points for having a VIP club that really does help separate you from your competition, and I think a great example if you guys are looking for inspiration. Okay. The second and final example that I'm going to look at in terms of series that you can utilize is the abandoned cart series. And again, I would say that the vast majority of merchants I speak to already have something like this set up. If you don't, Owen is over there. Owen, give us another wave. There we go. And he can help you or talk to you about some of the benefits of getting something like this set up. But essentially what this does is it waits for the trigger of somebody who has started their checkout but hasn't finished it for whatever reason. And when that happens, you can then quite quickly, often with a time delay, because you don't want to reach out to somebody immediately, you can then say, hello, why did you leave? Can we get you back on board? And the example that we're going to look at here is Monterex. So Monterex are a fashion company, and one of the cool segmentations that they have within their abandoned cart series is the ability to segment their response to these sort of incidents dependent on how much money is sitting in that cart. Because for a lot of brands that we work with, they want to be a little bit conscious in terms of when they offer discounts. You know, you don't necessarily want to offer a discount to somebody that only has 10 quid sitting in their cart. However, if someone has spent over 90 quid, Monterex sends the exact same email, but they will actually include a discount code to try and get you back on board. So a really good strategy allows you to be a little bit more refined, to think a bit more in terms of how you are going to treat these sort of different purchases with a bit of triage. That isn't my favorite example with Monterex. I think the thing that they are doing so well, and I would encourage everyone in this room to start thinking about, is leveraging email and SMS together in your series. So they have a SMS which is sent out to customers 30 minutes after somebody is classified as having abandoned the cart. And in that SMS, they say to them, thank you so much for looking at us. Thank you so much for shopping around with us. Just so you know, we've only got 2 items left and somebody is looking at them. If you want to remake your purchase, please crack on, follow this link, and we'll get it all sorted out. Which works really well. Since implementing this, and they've been with Klaviyo for about 2 years now, they have a 25% click-through rate for that SMS that goes out after 30 minutes, which means 1 in 4 people are coming back to make the purchase, which is pretty staggering. They have seen a 300% increase in the amount of revenue generated from this flow since implementing SMS. I think it's fair to say that sometimes email can be seen as a little bit of an oversaturated channel. So the more that you can push out into different marketing channels, be that push, be that reviews, be that SMS, the better benefits that you are going to see. Now, to call out one other Irish retailer who I thought do a fantastic job with the abandoned cart series is Vaughan Shoes. One of the reasons we often see where people will disengage during the shopping process is because there is a lack of conviction in the purchase. So they may say, okay, well, you know, I like this product, I'm just not sure if it's right for me. So the ability to embed reviews from someone like Trustpilot makes a big, big difference. So having a little bit of social proof goes a hell of a long way. So also a strategy that you guys can consider. How are we doing for time? Oh, bang on. Good. Okay. We're going to finish then with 2 little thoughts in terms of how I believe Irish retailers can get ahead. The first one, and my formatting is slightly off, so apologies. I promise you that's a very compelling statistic that you can't see. We'll send the deck afterwards. But I think the first one is really thinking about how you guys can offer personalized experiences. I think actually one of the things that really separates Irish retailers from retailers elsewhere is the level of quality that you receive in store. It's really, really lovely to shop here. But we do know that it can be challenging to take this and apply it to the online space. And with a tool like Klaviyo, you have the ability to do that. You can leverage our technology to continue to operate and have your online marketing efforts be an extension of your already great brand. If there's one statistic that I would like you guys to leave with today, and thank God it's the one that hasn't been jangled up, it's this one here. 78% of customers say that being treated like an individual will lead them to purchasing more. So the more that you can facilitate that online, the better your results are going to be. Now, the second piece of advice that we would give is look at combining email with other channels. SMS is seeing a massive adoption in EMEA. It's already very big in countries like the UK. It's growing exponentially in France and Germany. Ireland is already beginning to catch up as well. And when we look at the few examples of retailers who have really got a working strategy out there, they are seeing a huge amount of benefits. So I've included a case study here. As I said, I'll make sure that you guys have this deck afterwards. But Donut Time, who are a UK retailer, implemented email and SMS, and since doing so, they can track 47% of their online revenue, which is directly attributed to it. And they've got a welcome flow, and this is cut off slightly, but they have a 23% conversion rate on their welcome flow, which means a quarter of people who receive or sign up for a newsletter end up making a purchase. And one of the strategies that they have in place is to leverage email and SMS within that welcome flow. And that is essentially it. So yeah, as I said, myself and Owen will be here for the entirety of the day. If you do have any questions, more than happy to go through it. But yeah, really appreciate you guys' time. Thank you so much.